Saxon Algebra 1, half lesson 108. End of week 3. Yay. I've been painting tonight, painting my laundry room. I'm getting a new floor, new tile on the floor, and it's going in tomorrow. So you know how that is. You got to paint before the new thing comes so that it's all perfect and pretty and you won't get paint on it. That's my drama. Anyway, I didn't write the title. Oh no. Fractional percents. I also feel it's only fair to let you know that I have paint in my hair as we speak. So no, I'm not going to take a shower. I'm going to wait until after I have taught my lessons to my darling students because they mean more to me than anything else. Well, I mean, I guess a painted laundry room means more because I did that first, but you know what I'm saying. Let's go back to fractions, decimals, and percents. Remember those charts that we did? Yeah, we're kind of revisiting that. But we're going to make it a weensy bit harder, but really not. Remember for our reference numbers, what we did was we would take a fraction. This one happens to be over 100. That's cool because it makes it really easy to then know that the decimal number is like that, right? Because it's the hundredths place. So that's 1/10, 100th. So we just fit the number into those slots and we're good. Okay, and then how do we turn it into a percent? Excuse me, I'm yawning. We go 1, 2 bumps on the decimal, and then that number is the percent. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to practice this same pattern on some numbers that aren't quite so obvious, and we're going to learn how to deal with them. Okay, for A, what we're going to do in this example is we're going to get them as percents, and we're going to rewrite them as decimals. So the first one is 4.2%. That's weird. We don't usually have decimals in percents, but that's what this lesson is all about. I mean, decimal percents, fraction percents, both. So what we do is we can look at our reference numbers to get a guide as to how to go back. Okay, this is 51. We want to turn it into a decimal. We can see, oh, if you're going in that direction, then you move the decimal 2 places that way, right? So look what happens. We go bump, bump. The decimal goes there, then that means a 0. So this is 0.42. Makes sense? And then we can see, oh, if we wanted to turn it back into a percent, we go bump, bump, 4.2%. So going back and forth between decimals and percents, it's pretty easy. We just remember that for a percent, you slide the decimal twice. And these numbers will help you. That's what these are so cool. You can forget the rules really easily, right? I mean, I'll tell you what, the world is full of grown-ups that forget these rules. But if you can just remember these 3 numbers and then look at them and kind of draw from them the rule, then you'll be fine. Okay, let's try another one that's weird. 0.05%. Okay, I'm going to put in the 0 on this one. 0.05%. Okay, that isn't 0.05 turned into a percent. That is 0.05%. So once again, we look at our rule. Oh yeah, you bump it twice that way. So 1, 2. So our number is 0.0005. And again, we can test by going in the other direction. To go from decimal to percent, we move it twice this way. Boom, boom, it would be there. Yes, that's where we had it. Okay, 4.5%. This was B. This is C. We're all still in this. And in these, John didn't ask us to find the fraction. All right. Now, this one is a fractional. It's not a decimal number. So what we want to do is we want to write this as a decimal. This is the title character. We want to change this into a decimal percent. We want to change the fractional percent into a decimal percent. So I'm going to do that first. That would be 4.5%, right? 1/2 is the same as 0.5. So I write it as a decimal. Now I can do my usual thing. 1, 2. And so this would be 0.045. 5. Okay, so this is important. If you get a fractional percent, change the fraction into a decimal and then do your adjusting. And this was C, and then we have one more, 3/20%. Oh, wow. 3/20%. Okay, that's crazy, right? Okay, we don't need that. This is D. And again, we're not asked to find the fraction in any of these. It wouldn't be that hard, right? It's easy to go that way. Okay, so this is crazy. Remember that the rule is for a fractional percent. Let me write down the rule so you know what it is. If we have a fractional percent, change it to a decimal percent, and then change it to just a plain percent. All right? That's what we've done in these last two. First, we just practiced that much, going from a decimal percent to a percent, and now we're throwing in the additional step of converting the fraction. Okay, 3/20, we want to write as a decimal number. A decimal number needs to have a power of 10 on the bottom. So this, we're going to multiply by 5/5, right? And that equals 15/100, right? Which equals 0.15. So that is our percent number. It's 0.15%. 3/20% equals 0.15%. Okay, this is all just my notes on how I found that out. I'm quickly running out of space, aren't I? I'll write my answer up here. So if it's 0.15%, now we're good because we've got a decimal percent. Now we can just go bump 0.0015. Let me just check and make sure. Yeah, we got all these answers right. That was right. That was right. I hope you guys box your answers and put some sort of, I mean, I like a smiley face, but you can put whatever you want. I mean, it's end of April and I'm just telling you that. But anyway, we'll have many more years together, you guys. I'm very excited on, I love getting students at the beginning of the algebra track and working with them all the way through. And you guys were bonus. Well, Alexis, we didn't work with last year, but Jojo and Joel, we did the year before together. So we, oh man, we're in this for the long haul. You guys are going to be like my Rachel Bragg, who I had forever. And it was lovely and I enjoyed it. Okay, so this is what we were doing here is we were going from decimal percents to decimals. I wrote that wrong, didn't I? No, this is right. To a decimal. That's what I really want that to say. Sorry. Fix it, please. Fractional percent to a decimal percent to a decimal. All right? Hopefully that makes sense to you, even though I didn't write the rule properly. 108.2. Okay. 4.5% of the students, I'm just going to take some notes on this. 4.5% of the students did not brush their teeth every day. Dear God, did not brush teeth. I bet they were all boys. No offense, Joel. If there were 1,200 students in all, how many did not brush their teeth every day? That's what this is. Did not brush teeth. It should be every day. Let's make it legit, shall we? All right, what we can see quickly is that this is a frickin' formula problem. We've got a bunch of students and we're dividing them into two groups based on their oral hygiene. So let's draw. Here are all the students. It's 1,200, and that represents, this is a percent problem, so that we know that represents 100%. We're dividing them. Thank goodness it's not so close to half and half. But this is 4.5%. So this would be what? 100 minus this, it would be 95.5%, right? And we're supposed to find out how many students go here. Although I usually put the number inside. So I'm going to move it. All right. So we see, okay, it's frickin' formula. That part isn't hard. It's the percent version. Remember, this is the of number, and these are the is numbers. We have to use one group or the other. There's the new part. Our percent, when we go to write it in here, we don't want to use 4.5. We want to convert it to a decimal number. We want to change it to a decimal percent. We don't have to change it all the way to a decimal number. We can leave it as a decimal percent, but we don't want to have 4.5. That's creepy. So that would be 4.5%. Make sense? So we'll do 4.5 over 100 times equals X, the students with the green teeth. All right? So everything else in this problem is flowing just like a regular frickin' formula. The only weird thing is this little freak child. That's really actually quite cute. I don't have a problem with it. Okay, so we converted it to a decimal percent, and now we're putting it to use. This is one of those fun kind where the X is already by itself, and all we have to do is simplify, and this is great because 100 goes into that evenly, and all I have to do is multiply 4.5 times 12, and this problem will be solved. 0, carry the 1, 9, 5, 4, adding 0, 4, 5, 540. And we need a decimal. There's one digit behind a decimal place, so there it is. What that tells us, my friends, is that 54 students do not brush their teeth every day. I'll refuse comment on that, but I will tell you a story. And then we could multiply this number times that over 100, but honestly, let's just subtract, and it would be what? 1, 1, 4, 6. Did I add it correctly? 0, carry the 1, 0, carry the 1, 2. Yes, this would be the right answer. But this is what John wants, and that is correct. When my daughters were middle school age, I'd say about your guys' age, the older two were about your age, we were down in Southern California, and we stopped in to visit a childhood friend of mine that I'd grown up with, and her family, her husband and her kids, and of course I'd been friends with her all along, and we'd exchanged Christmas cards, blah, blah, blah. We'd never met in person before. Well, the kids hadn't. And her son was just about the same age as my second daughter, and they were like 13, 14, something like that. I think that's about how old you guys are. And they discovered a mutual attraction. Let's just say it like that, right? They were doing that thing where everyone in the room could tell there was smoke coming out of both of their ears, flames perhaps. And Nick, my friend's son, really wanted to impress my daughter. He was trying really hard. It was very cute. And one night we were in the family room all watching a movie together, and my friend, who I always called by her last name growing up, which is Gutzeit. It's a German name. Her name's Sue, but I always called her Gutzeit. And she was like, it was like bed-ish time. You know how it is when you're in junior high. You don't really have a bedtime, but your mom still sort of like circles around, right, to make sure you're doing things right. And she said, Nick, have you brushed your teeth today? And Nick goes, no. And she's like, Nick, that is so disgusting. Like, here it is bedtime, and you still haven't even brushed your teeth once today. That is so gross. And he goes, no, it's not. He was like, being a sassy little teenager and acting like that was no big deal. And so my friend says to my daughter that has the flames with Nick, she says, Emma, do you think that's gross? And she goes, and my daughter says, that is disgusting. Like, ew. And he jumped up. They were all like, spread out in sleeping bags in front of the TV, and we had a bunch of snacks and stuff. He goes flying out of his sleeping bag, runs to the bathroom, slams the door, but we can all hear him brushing his teeth in there. And we were howling with laughter because obviously his mom had been saying it his whole life that it was gross not to brush his teeth. But when the girl that he's interested in tells him it's gross, now he moves to action, right? And my friend told me from that day on, he always brushed his teeth multiple times a day. So I'm glad that my daughter could have this healing effect on his DNBTED quality. And he switched. He went from one of the 4.5% to the 95. So whenever I do this problem, I think of Nick and his teeth. He's an adult now. They're all in their 30s and they're wonderful people. Okay, I'm done rambling. That's my story, though, about don't brush your teeth every day. So Joel, if you don't brush your teeth every day, your mom might call you out in front of the girl you like and you'll be embarrassed. So just know that girls appreciate clean teeth. Okay, guess what? That's all for lesson 108. Unless you'd like to hear more stories because, I'd be happy to tell them. But I'll save them for another day. Okay, bye.